Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I'm here to do a recap on another episode of As the Ratchet World Turns, aka Love and Hip Hop New York. Last night's episode had to be one of the most craziest episodes I've ever seen in Love and Hip Hop history. It was extra ratchet, extra drama, lots of tears. I even told everybody on Twitter that they need to rename this as the Ratchet Tears Flow because everybody was crying about some ratchet ass shit last night. So let's go ahead and get started. So in the opening scene, we see creepy ass Peter Gunz, and basically he's talking to Amina, and Amina's real upset because Peter Gunz has not come home for the past 2 nights. She feels like it's not fair that Peter Gunz is going over to Tara's house and spending the night over there. She understands that he has kids, but he is her husband and he needs to respect their vows. You know, I just found this whole situation just crazy as hell. And what was even more crazy is that Amina was begging Peter to meet his kids. She's like, Peter, I haven't met any of your kids. It's not right. I'm your wife. You should at least introduce me to your youngest kids. I want them to come over here. I want us to build a relationship. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, you've been married to this man for the past year. He spends the night with his baby's mother 3-4 times out the week, and you've never met none of his kids, not even his grown kids that are not by Tara. Amina Caterpillar, you have seriously failed in life. You know, it's like, I don't understand the point of this relationship. I don't understand the point of this foolishness, but she's willing to be Peter's doormat. That's on her. If she likes it, I love it. Moving on from them two crazy ass people, we got Saigon and light-skinned Bobby Christina, aka Erica Jean. So Saigon decides to apologize to Erica for all the bullshit he said to her about 2 episodes ago. So he went off on her, he called her stupid, said her ass was fake, her tits were fake, she wasn't shit, she was a hood booger. I mean, he called her everything but a child of God. Now he's decided to apologize to her. He's saying that he just wants the best for his son. And so they're going to go meet together and go sit down with the psychiatrist. So they sit down with the speech therapist, psychiatrist, whatever you want to call this person. They're talking to the psychiatrist about how the son is always banging his head against the wall, how when he gets upset he can't really verbally, express himself, and that they're concerned. And you could tell that, as parents, they're both concerned for their child, even though they've made a lot of mistakes. Saigon hasn't really been in this child's life, but he just seemed good. But he does seem like he is trying to step up. So like I said on Twitter, the light-skinned Bobby Christina and Saigon need to put their differences aside and come together for the betterment of their child. Because at the end of the day, all their bullshit arguing, all their bullshit going back and forth does not mean anything. They need to make sure that this little boy gets the help that he so desperately needs, if he needs that help. So after the whole fight that happened last week, Erica goes to go meet up with Rich Dollars. And basically she tells Rich Dollars that the whole situation that went down at the restaurant was wrong and and that basically Rich had no business bringing Peter Gunz there. And Rich is yelling at Erica like, what, your attitude is just out of control. You need to calm down. You're more known for, going off and popping off than anything else. And Erica makes a valid point. She tells Rich, how's Peter going to talk about our situation being messy when look at his personal life. His personal life is all in shambles. He's a joke out here. And so Rich has to agree that, Erica is making a valid point. So then at the end of it all, Rich decides to go back to working with Erica, and they decide to make, the whole Erica, Rich Dollars, and Men of Magic. They decide to make it a real thing. After Erica is able to convince Rich where she's coming from, she then breaks down into tears, and she tells Rich that, the only reason why she signed that contract was to keep Rich in her life, and, she still has a lot of love for him. And then he starts getting all teary-eyed and shit, and he's telling her that he has a lot of love for her. Bitch, aren't you gay now? Aren't you with Cyn? Why you over here all up in Rich Dollar's face? See, I'm going to need Erica to get her life. That's the whole Erica and Rich fiasco. Rich ends up going to go meet up with Yandy, and they're talking about everything, and Yandy starts breaking down again about Mendeecees, which, like I told you, I have 0 fucks to give. Because like I said on Twitter, she knew what that man was about. She knew he was about that life, and sometimes you win some and sometimes you lose some. I can't shed tears for anybody who would purposely put themselves in a situation like that. So, while I feel bad for their baby, I don't feel bad for Yandy. So she was sitting there crying, and then Rich is like, oh, you'll be okay. You're a strong black woman. I'm like, really, Rich? That's your advice? You should have told her she needs to move on and get somebody who's not in jail, because Mendeecees ain't coming out no time soon. That's the advice that he should have gave her. Pick up and move on with your life. Let him do his time. Be there for him. Be a friend. But don't put your life on hold because of his mistakes. The next thing we get to see K. Michelle. So I guess this must be our lucky week because we've seen K. Michelle 2 weeks in a row. This episode, she's talking to her manager, and she's talking about, like how she wants to be seen and how people are so negative towards her and how she wants to look like Beyonce. And when she said Beyonce, I was like, pause, what did she just say? Did she just say she wants to look like Beyonce? No, ma'am. The Beehive started going in on K. Michelle, telling her that she would never, ever, ever look like Queen Bee, okay? K. Michelle needs to be her. You don't need to emulate Beyonce or anybody else. Emulate yourself. That's the problem. Everybody wants to look like Beyonce. There's nothing wrong with how Beyonce looks, but that's Beyonce's look. You can't do Beyonce. Nobody can do Queen Bee. Then she starts crying and she's talking about how, a lot of men won't ask her out. And she wants her manager to start managing her woo-ha. And I get so tired of her calling her coochie a woo-ha. It's like, ma'am, every time she says that, it reminds me of that Busta Rhymes song. K. Michelle, I need you to call you a woo-ha, something else. Thank you. And her manager's looking at her like, ma'am, all we do is bandage your career. We don't have nothing to do with your lady parts. And she was also upset and talking about how her house was filled with demons and she needs to move. I think what it is that this woman is fighting a lot of demons that she needs to deal with. When she exercises the demons within herself, she'll be okay. The next thing we have Creepy Rich and Creepy Peter. They meet up to go have drinks over dinner. Rich is salty because of how everything went down with Peter Gunz and Erica, and he didn't like the fact that Peter Gunz was going so hard at Erica and that they got up into it. And Peter Gunz starts acting like a 15-year-old girl instead of the grandfather that he is. So Peter Gunz is like, you need to choose. You know what I'm saying? You're my dude. You're my brother. We've been down from day one. You need to choose. It's either me or Erica. And Rich is looking at him like, bitch, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm not about to pick between you, my homeboy, and my girl, or somebody I'm cool with, somebody I'm trying to do business with. And Rich basically told him, no, I'm not going to choose between y'all. I'm friends with you and I'm friends with her, and we'll just make it where y'all don't have to meet no more. But I just kind of felt like it was stupid that he would try and give him an ultimatum. Damn well, Rich is not going to leave Erica. He is strung up on her just like she's strung up on him, but they're both trying to have these other fake relationships to play it off. The next thing we go back to K. Michelle, and K. Michelle's friend Trish is coming in from out of town. And she walks in all extra bubbly and gossipy, and she's like, Kay, I just heard on Media Takeout that you're pregnant. And Kay gets really, really upset, and she's like, no, I'm just so tired of the blogs. All they do is tear me down. All they do is hate on me. I'm just so sick of them. And she just starts breaking down crying. And I'm like, the fuck is she crying for? You know what I'm saying? I don't feel bad for K. Michelle because the blogs, yes, sometimes they say some crazy stuff about her, but she perpetuates a lot of that shit that they write about her. A lot of the stuff they write about her is about her attitude, her behavior, and the way she treats people, and then she gets upset. And like I said on Twitter and Facebook, if you guys can name me any other publication that's writing about K. Michelle, please let me know. Because if it wasn't for the urban blogs writing about her and putting her music out there, a lot of folks would not be checking for her after Love and Hip Hop Atlanta stopped airing. After they stopped airing Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, folks would have just went on about their business. But because the urban blogs kept her valid and kept her business out there and kept her music out there, that's why folks are still somewhat checking for her. So I thought it was really, really tacky when she told all the blogs to kiss her big fat ass butt cheeks. I'm like, really? How old are we? You know what I'm saying? You're in your 30s. You need to grow up. People always gonna have something to say. That's just like, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be giving them food for fodder. People talk about Beyonce all the damn time. Some of the stuff is true, some of the stuff is not true. But one thing you can't say is that you're not gonna find no video of Beyonce cussing out nobody. You're not gonna see no video of Beyonce hitting somebody. You're not gonna see no video of Beyonce going off on somebody. So regardless of what people make up and say about her, her actions don't ever reflect that. Whatever folks say and make up about you, your actions always reflect that. And that's the difference. And that's why she will never be a Beyonce. Y'all know I'm not no Beyonce stan. I listen to Beyonce's music. That's about it. But it seems like she wants to be like Beyonce so bad. But she's not going to be because of her attitude. She needs to be herself and tone that shit down. She's just a bit just over the top. And I was just over the whole crying scene with her. So the next thing, Mendeecees decides to make an appearance via telephone call. So he calls Yandy with some, I guess, good news. And he's telling Yandy that he may be coming out soon and that, they're working on some stuff. And Yandy's all excited. And she's like, I can't wait. And when I see, I'm going to just have on nothing but a trench coat. And I'm like, do they realize that this call is being recorded for quality purposes? And we can hear this, phone sex talk that they're having. We can hear everything y'all saying, Mendeecees and Yandy. We're right here. Hello. And they was just having their little fun moments. But I feel bad because, like, after the little 15-minute call is up, she just goes back to being depressed and being sad again. She just needs to move on. She's just too smart of a woman to have herself in this type of situation. So the next thing we had Tahiry and her sister. Her sister is back and Twitter's still winning on her. People were on Twitter comparing her hair to Top Ramen. When I seen this meme, y'all, I fell the hell out. I'm like, they were really, really showing out last night. My question is, where the hell is Joe Budden? So has he just been written out now and Lexi has taken his place? Because we haven't seen Joe Budden since the whole hair on the pillow incident about 3 weeks ago. So Lexi is still trying to propose that they built this church for their father because their father has always wanted to be a preacher. Not that he has, been told to preach, not that he's been preaching since he was a kid, just all of a sudden on a fleeting whim, he wants to be a preacher. So they're trying to put their money together to build a church so that way he can get money from the church. But I guess Tahiry starts thinking, like, you know what, that's not really a good look. I'm not trying to mess with God like that. I'm not trying to do anything to make God angry. So Tahiry's like, we have to figure something else out. I don't think the church thing is the right approach. Her sister Lexi starts getting mad and starts crying. I told y'all all night folks cried on this show. This shit was ridiculous. Lexi starts crying and she's basically accusing Tahiry of not supporting her idea to build her father a church. I was like, what? Girl, bye. Moving on. Their whole scene was whack. I need Joe to come back with his Joe Camel Cool ass because Joe keeps me laughing because Joe has 0 fucks to give. Lexi, I can't with her and her top ramen hair. So moving on to the next scene, we have Erica and Cyn, and they're in Panama. What's so funny about this is that they're literally just doing like these little flash photos. There's no dialogue, there's no storyline. VH1 is just literally just showing pictures of their trip, just little video snippets of their trip in Panama. Like the shit was just so fake. You can tell like this is not a real relationship. I've been saying that from jump. These two look like twin sisters. It's like, it's funny that Erica just so happens to get into a relationship with somebody else who's just as equally as hot as she is. They got the same fake tits. They got the same hairstyle. They're both really pretty. They're both Latina. It's like, really? Okay, Erica. So then they start talking, and Cyn is basically confessing her love to, Erica and Chipotle. And she's saying that she loves her, and this is her first, even though that this is her first lesbian relationship, she really wants to make a really strong commitment to Erica. And then we move on to another scene, and they're in the bathtub together. And they're making out in the tub, and there's all these suds, and like I said on Twitter, they didn't do that for each other. They did that for the fellas. That was to turn the guys on because it's 2 girls in a tub, soaking wet, looking hot, looking sexy. So I just found that whole scene just cheesy and fake as fuck. So in the next scene, we have K. Michelle and Yandy. They're basically at the club and they're celebrating K. Michelle's #1 hit. Her album had went #1, so they decided to throw a party at the club. And for whatever reason, Peter Gunz decides to show up with Amina. And this time, Amina has finally convinced him to wear his wedding ring. So he has on the wedding ring, and Yandy's just really upset. Yandy's definitely feeling some type of way because Tara's her friend. K. Michelle is definitely feeling some type of way because Tara's her friend. And so K. Michelle, her ghetto hood booger ass, she's going to speak her mind. And she's like, you know what? We're just going to address the elephant in the room. Let's find out, when was the last time you fucked Tara? And Peter Gunz, like, his whole face just dropped. Like, he can't believe that K. Michelle just put him on blast. See, what I'm going to need Peter to do, you know what I'm saying, because he stays taking L's, I'm going to need Peter to have some smoke bombs and a cape, so whenever he gets into a sticky situation, he can just throw the smoke bomb and just go running out the damn window. Because Peter Gunz is a trip. He stays taking L's. He stays caught up in some bullshit. So after K. Michelle and Yandy bust him out, Amina is like, looking at him just dumbfounded, like, what? You're still sleeping with her? I can't believe this. So Amina gets up and she just kind of runs away. And Peter Gunz ends up leaving and he's pissed off. But it's like, oh, well, why would you go to her party when you're not really friends with them like that any damn way? The next scene, Yandy decides to be messy. So Yandy goes to see Tara, and she basically tells Tara everything that went down at K. Michelle's party, how Peter showed up with Amina, and how Peter was wearing a ring, and how Peter was claiming Amina is his wife. So Tara's like hella pissed off, and she goes, you know what, that's some bullshit. I fuck him all the time. And then she goes on to say that she done took not 1 but 2 Plan B pills because of Peter. And I'm like, hold up, did this broad just actually sit here and tell the world that she's still fucking Peter, even though Peter played the hell out of her? Peter is married to Amina, and she's raw dogging Peter. So Peter is raw dogging her and raw dogging Amina. Obviously, they're not using protection, and she had to take not 1 but 2 Plan B pills. You know what? To me, I feel like Tara and Amina are 2 peas in a pot. They're both ratchet as hell. They're both trifling. And it's obvious, I don't care what nobody say, Peter Gunz and Rich Dollars have to have some golden tip dicks, because I don't understand what the hype is about either one of these 2 guys. It's not the money. It's not the looks. So obviously their sex game is on point, because these women seriously go cuckoo over Peter Gunz and over Rich Dollars. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. Maybe y'all can inform me. Please let me know something. So So last but not least, Tara ends up meeting up with Peter in the park. She's on her way to work. She looks like she works for a customer service company. So she's on her way to work, and she goes to confront him, and she's upset. And she's like, I can't believe that you were there with Amina, and you sitting here with my people trying to floss her, and you wearing a ring. That's some bullshit. You said you were trying to make this work. You wanted us to be a family. And Peter's like, I don't know what I want to do. I love you. I love her. And so Tara's just tired. She's like, I'm just tired of it. I want to meet up with you, and I want to meet up with Amina, because I feel like you telling me one thing and you telling her one thing. And Peter Guns is like, I'm 44 years old, B. I'm 44 years old. Nah, y'all ain't meeting up. So y'all can sit here and go back and forth and talk shit about me while I just sit there. Hell no, y'all not meeting up. And so she's like, I'm going to meet up with Amina, right, regardless if you like it or not. I'm done. I'm tired of this. And then she tells Peter as she's walking away that she's going to change the locks. And then Peter yells out, I'm just going to climb through the window. And she's like, F you. And I'm just like, this is insane. I can't believe the ratchetness in this episode. This was ratchetness overload. It's like, what the hell? The jokes just write themselves. Peter is still smashing Tara and Amina raw, and both of them are fighting over him like he's just some type of prize trophy. The whole situation is a trip. So anyways, that was my recap of Love and Hip Hop New York this week. So make sure you follow me on Twitter for all the latest updates. I'm Lovely T. So go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this week's episode. All right. Deuces.